This is Bleav in Georgia Dawgs podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network.
Scored a touchdown earlier on a direct snap. Now it's Michelle's turn, running all the way. Gets to the edge. Sonny Michel will send the Dawgs home to the championship game.
53.5-yard drive near hash, kick right, snap, hold, kick is away, it's raking, and it is good, good, good. Hot Pod does it. All right, Hot Pod.
Dawgs with an up and out, wide open, touchdown. Israel 2.
Good day. How's it going? We are the Bleav in Georgia Dawgs podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network, also coming to you live from Brinks TV. It's another week. Israel, we got college football on this weekend, so no more weekends without it. I'm excited. And, of course, joining me is Israel. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? I'm excited, too. As you can see, I'm repping my Georgia Dawgs shirt here.
There you go. TJ Maxx special.
Getting ready. TJ Maxx special for $5. So looking forward to watching some football finally, other than, high school. We always wait for college football to come on, if you're a real football fan. So I'm excited about football coming back.
That's right. I'm excited as well, and there's going to be hopefully fans in the stands, and you get real crowd noise this time. So I'm excited for it. But like I said, we are the Bleav in Georgia Dawgs podcast presented by betonline.ag. If you want to follow us, just look down below. Just hit that scroll, and you can follow us, follow Israel, follow the show, follow me. Come check us out. Without you, this thing don't grow. So like it, share it, comment, subscribe, do all of the above. Hit us up on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. We're on Twitch. Not on TikTok yet. Not officially. I've got an account for our show, but I don't really use it. But still trying to figure that medium out. But like I said, I might get some of the kids at school to teach me how to actually use it for what I want to use it for. Don't worry, I'm not going to do any dances. Israel's not going to do any dances either. So I haven't been practicing. Don't plan to practice. So, but like I said, we are presented by betonline.ag. It is, if you're into sports betting, BetOnline is where you should go to win money today. Whether it's live bets during games or futures or who you think will win the championship, BetOnline has all the latest odds, news, and information for all your online sports betting needs. I know I've been saying this with the NBA. I never pulled the trigger, but I really think I might, because Nebraska-Illinois played this week, and I really think I might, just for the fun of it, put some action on that game.
Ooh, I think you got to watch out for Illinois with Brett Bielema there now. You just never know what might happen. Are they going to be the ground and pound that he's usually doing, or are they going to spread it out and throw that pill around a little bit? So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on. And with everything going on in Nebraska right now with Scott Frost, you just never know what might happen.
Right, exactly. We will actually in our wrap up segment here, if you notice on the sidebar of our PTI set, you'll notice that in our wrap up we'll make a few picks on some of these college games because we can. That'll be part of our in season rundown. We'll make picks at the end of every show. We'll make some, obviously SEC picks and obviously some other picks from around the country of some spreads that I think are interesting. So we'll get into all of that. But I just wanted to say that. If you want to play these games, if you want to play some live bets, go visit the website today or use your mobile device to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So before that next big game, head on over to BetOnline and start playing today. That's BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Israel, it's that time of year where I have no voice, and I probably won't have a voice until about mid-November.
You hear mine right now. I kind of feel bad for our fans a little bit because I sound a little raspy. We actually
it's authentic, Israel. Don't feel bad. It's authentic.
Trust me, it's the life of a coach. We actually got kind of shut down a little bit yesterday due to some contact tracing, but we're fine. Everything's good to go. So we had a long practice today. Lots of yelling today. Lots of getting kids in order, but it was actually a good practice. So I know Corey feels the same way I do. During the week, we're coming to you a little bit early this week because we both have games on Thursday this week. So this is what it sounds like. This is what it sounds like to be a coach Monday through Friday.
Exactly. And then this is what we deal with. And apparently this is what it looks like to be a coach in August in the South. Israel, I'm not far away from matching your T-shirt with all my son. So that's good as well. But anyway, it was a scorcher here today. But some real quick breaking news before we get into the scrimmaging. Apparently, defensive back David Daniel was hit by a bus earlier today. He's fine. He's tough. He has bumps and bruises. Very, very lucky that nothing worse happened. I guess he just got too close and a bus just nicked him, or he tried to get out of the way just in time. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but us in motor vehicle accidents, whether it be scooters, buses, cars, because Tommy Bush and Richard LeCount both got struck last year as well. So what do we just need to bubble wrap these guys?
Oh man, sometimes, you and I both know, sometimes those buses come really close to the curb. Sometimes if you aren't careful, they'll hit you. You get hit by a mirror or sometimes the bike rack. So maybe it's a situation where you're just a little bit too close to the curb. Hopefully he was paying attention. I've seen, people trying to cross the street and the bus is coming and get hit. Luckily the bus slows down, but at the same time, you just got hit by a bus, so hopefully, everything's fine with him. It was a simple fact that, maybe he was a little bit too close to the curb, something like that, to where that injury is not serious and he's okay to play. So, prayers out to you, my man, and, watch out for the buses. They can be very violent at times.
They can be, and luckily we can laugh about it a little bit because he's okay. So that's good. If it was more serious, obviously we would not be having a little bit of fun with it. So just be careful, right? Just be careful. So
got to.
Second scrimmage, is in the books. They completed another pretty productive day. Kirby said that he was pretty pleased overall with the effort of the scrimmage. The main thing coming out of the scrimmage, Israel, is communication. So here's kind of what I want to get across, because communication is very, very important when it comes to being able to, I don't want to say the definition with the definition, but being able to properly communicate the calls is very, very important, because you need to be able to get guys in the right position, get guys, especially on the offensive line, with defenses doing so much movement and pre-snap realignment, that you guys got to be on the same page. And your center, who is new, which is Cedric Van Pran, is a new center. He's got to be able to make the calls as well. So, that's something that, from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2 should improve. And I think it did a little bit, but how important is, what kind of other things communication wise do you need, like defensively, special teams wise, offense wise, when it comes to communication?
Number one is making sure you got the right personnel, when you're ready to huddle. For me, I call it shoe. We all get in the horseshoe, kind of like a circle. I count my guys, make sure I got all 11. Make sure I got, 2 tackles, 2 guard center, things like that, before we break the huddle, before I give the play. That's number one. Number 2 is making sure that you identify people who are injured. So if he's on field goal team, and he got hurt the play before, then you got to let the special teams coach know, hey, so-and-so's down. Next thing is getting the play in, making sure there's no miscommunication. For me, I'm one of the signalers for our offense. So it's making sure that my guys can see me, making sure my guys can see my O-line coach who's signaling, make sure my guys can see my receiver coach who's signaling as well. So it's making sure everybody understands who's the hot guy. and all that good stuff. There's so much that goes into a ball game that people don't understand. And all this happens at practice. We signal at practice. We signal during scrimmages as well. With Georgia being no huddle, up-tempo type offense this year, they go off wristbands. You got to make sure people understand what number they're looking at on the wristband. So it takes a lot to go into it and make sure everybody's in the right spot. Up front is at the utmost importance. If your center goes down, the next guy has to know what to do, pointing out mics. I don't know if they do that anymore, but pointing out mics, pointing out hots, making sure we understand that we're going left and not right. There's so much that goes into communication. And when you're on the O-line, it's at the utmost importance at all times that we talk.
Yeah, and a lot of schemes, and I don't know about your schemes or whatever, but I've been in schemes where you point out the mic to start your count, play side. So like you point out your mic, he's the 0, and then you go from the mic 1, 2, and then backside 1, 2, and then if there's a third guy, number 3, and each person is responsible for a certain number. Like guard will be responsible for number 1, tackle number 2, tight end or wing or whoever, whatever other back you may have in the backfield. If you're 20 personnel or 21 personnel, we'll have number 3. Center will be responsible for either backside 1 or 0, depending on alignment. And we got to be able to communicate that, and you got to be able to get that call down the line. So usually pointing out the mic for pass protection, inside zone runs, outside zones probably not quite as bad, or identifying combo blocks. Hey, let's ace deuce deuce, or whatever. I'm just throwing out a couple terms there, but
solo,
whatever.
We use solo, things like that. So that stuff's important. You gotta know when you're doubling, gotta know when you're by yourself, gotta know when you're pulling. You gotta understand who's pulling, where am I going? Is there a 3 technique? Is there a shade? Things like that. Those stuff has got to be pointed out by the center. He's got to know what's going on.
Absolutely. And so he's of utmost importance. When you have a new guy in there, sometimes communications can break down. There was some lack of communication when Richard LeCount went out last year. We saw that in the Florida game where we had communication breakdowns on who had who, especially in the defensive backfield. That's of utmost importance. If you don't communicate on a punt, that's how you get a punt blocked. And I've seen that happen. I saw that happen last Friday when in our game we had 2 punts blocked for a touchdown. That was not fun. Both times our personal protector had an opportunity to hit one of 2 people, chose neither, and they blocked the kick. One of the block kicks, the dude basically just palmed the ball off the punter's hand. Off the punter's foot, I mean, and it was in the end zone, so he just palmed it and took it off his foot and scored. It was that was kind of demoralizing. That put him up 31-0. It was a rough night, but so let's get into offense specifically. You're kind of starting to see Todd Monken get into his own. With the big playability, even with all the injuries mounting up, you're kind of seeing what he can do. There's some guys that are starting to come back that are starting to emerge, like Arian Smith is starting to become a dangerous playmaker, things like that. Kenny McIntosh is starting to kind of emerge. He had a really good scrimmage. Kendall Milton has been having a really good camp. He had a pretty good scrimmage as well, and obviously James Cook and Zamir White, we know what they bring to the table, so they probably didn't get as many reps as they normally would in that. And then of course we talked about Adonai Mitchell last week. He got some first team reps, and I think that coming out of this scrimmage with Darnell Washington down, a lot of people think that tight end went from no problem to big problem. I still don't really believe that, because Fitzpatrick is somebody that can get it done. Brock Bowers is somebody that can get it done, and we can also get it done in different personnel groupings. So I'm not as worried about the tight end position as probably a lot of people are. But you look at your strengths, obviously. JT Daniels and being able to distribute the ball. The offensive line is deep with talent, but can the guys down the line guys come in and provide opportunity? So let's talk about the offensive line. Let's start there. Israel. I think when you look at the left tackle spot right now, Broderick Jones is showing that he could push for that eventual starting position. I think it's looking more and more like they're going Sawyer game 1, which I think is brilliant.
I think you stay with Sawyer. He's the proven guy right now. You're going against a Brett Venables defense. You kind of want somebody who's more experienced over there in that spot anyway. So I think that's a great move by them. I don't know how much Clemson has coming back from on the D line, but I know the linebackers are good. I know their secondary is pretty sporty too. So if we can protect, I think we can find some holes, within that secondary. So as long as we can protect, if that means putting somebody experienced up there, I think we're fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And, on the interior, Justin Schaefer, a senior coming back that has a lot of experience. He's a guy that can provide some much needed oomph at that guard position, somebody that can also help relay the calls. I think he's somebody that can support a young center because this hand injury with Warren Erickson is a little bit more serious than I thought because he's still out for the most part. I mean, I think he's starting to get a little bit of work, but he's not really getting any scrimmage reps. So, having a guy like Justin Schaefer right there at guard to help you out with all the calls, I think is absolutely invaluable. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see what Tate Ratledge can do. That right tackle spot also is something that's interesting because Tate Ratledge is actually I've read his name as being a contender at that right tackle spot. And him, Xavier Truss, if Broderick Jones doesn't end up being the starter at left tackle, maybe he moves over and starts at right tackle. Who knows? And a lot of this is going to be determined by Marius Mims and how well he develops. He was beat up a little bit, so he hadn't been getting as much work lately. So I don't know. Like I really like this offensive line, how it shakes out. Even if there's, I think there's 8 guys that can step in and play and not have a drop off.
Yeah, you got 8 guys that can play all 5 positions across the board. You mentioned Schaefer, having Schaefer at guard right next to the center, who's right next to an inexperienced center. I mean, you see it all the time in college football, and for us in high school football, guards are the ones that make the calls for the center. If you got somebody who's been there before and somebody inexperienced right next to him, why not let the guard kind of take that over, and all the center has to worry about is snapping the football.
Absolutely, and I'm excited to kind of see where that all shakes out, the guard spots as well. When these tackles come along, Sawyer eventually, the goal is to move Sawyer in. So these tackles, no pressure, but there is some urgency to kind of get those guys up to speed so that Sawyer can move inside to his more natural position of guard. So the offensive line shaking out really, really well. Some other strengths, the backs are actually showing that they can catch the ball out of the backfield. And we're actually seeing that Todd Monken is involving them in the pass game. So if you really kind of want to know, go look at his work at Southern Miss, because he had 2 NFL guys in the backfield, Jalen Richard and Judge Ito, which is what his nickname is. I can't think of his actual first name, but Ito and the other guy, Jalen Richard, he used those guys really, really well, stayed in 20 personnel a lot. I think with some of the injuries that are mounting up, you might see some 20 personnel stuff and some of these guys catching balls out of the backfield. You might see some Zamir White and James Cook in the backfield at the same time doing some things. And I'm excited for it. There's going to be some different formations that we deploy that take advantage of some of that stuff, motions, things like that, ways to get James Cook around the field, because I don't know if you know this, James Cook is a weapon. He's a weapon. He's a weapon.
Yes. And what makes defenses more upset when they have to chase the rabbit? When you got somebody like James Cook who can play in the slot, who can play running back, who can play sniffer, and now you have to taper him anywhere he is on the field. So I mean, if you got Zeus and him on the field at the same time, now you have to look at run, or you have to look at him or both of them at the backfield. So any good coordinator, and you know as well as I do, we're going to use the back. We're going to use the back in runs. We're going to use the back in protection, and we're going to use the back in pass. So I mean, with the things that Monkey wants to do, and it seems like Coach Smart has kind of given him the keys to the Cadillac. Being able to use all your weapons at your disposal, especially when you got a couple down, is key to winning ball games. It's going to be key to beating Clemson. going to be key to beating Alabama or Texas A&M or whoever we play against in the SEC championship game, is using all your weapons and keeping the defense off balance.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's the biggest thing. And so as we kind of wrap up this defensive session or this offensive session before we move to defense, anytime you can use your backs and anytime you can get those guys involved, those create mismatches. And if you really kind of want to know what James Cook's impact can be, watch the Bama game, even though we didn't win. Watch South Carolina game. I think those were his 2 best games, and then Missouri, I think, were his 3 best games. But I'm excited about this offense, and then of course the backup quarterback position, Carson Beck. He's improved immensely, right? He's improved tremendously. But to me, I guess if it's a pinch hitting situation where you just need a quarterback for a series or 2, probably going to be Stetson Bennett, just to kind of stabilize things. But I think if it's something long term, you're probably looking at Brock Vandagriff. Let's just be honest about that. He's more talented. Once the light turns on for him, it's going to be pretty special.
Yeah, I think I don't think he's ready yet. I think you are. I think he'll be able to come back and compete by this time next year, or Lord's willing, something doesn't happen to JT.
Yeah.
And he has to be thrown in the fire already. I think you better compete then, but I think you got to go with Carson Beck if it's a long-term deal. He's been there for a year.
And he's shown that he can do it. So give him a shot. I'd like to see him get a shot.
You still have Stetson Bennett who can go in and give you some quality reps, some quality minutes at QB too. So I think you go with those 2 guys first. And that's just coming from, a coordinator myself. Who am I going to look at first? A guy who's been here, who kind of knows the offense, or a freshman who is just now kind of learning everything. It also depends on how much Brandon Griffin is in his playbook. If he's in his playbook a lot and he knows what to do, let him go. We're not holding back. We're not going to just keep the most talented kid on the bench. If you know it, you play it, and let's go out there and ball.
Let's do it. So transitioning over to the defense, just one of the biggest observations is, man, this is a physical football team. You have some guys that can thump. Obviously, the front 7 is the overwhelming strength of this team, and that's not even a knock on the secondary. But this front 4 is about as loaded as it gets for Georgia. It's as loaded as it's ever been under Kirby Smart. And man, you look at some of the likes of the guys that we have, good Lord, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Travon Walker, Devontae Wynn, those guys. You just keep rolling them through, right?
Yes.
You just keep rolling them through, and you've got guys that can be fresh up there, right? And not only do you have defensive linemen that you can roll in and be fresh, but you got some linebackers too, like Adam Anderson and Nolan Smith on the edges, right? Those are 2 of the fastest edge rushers in the country. Those are 2 NFL guys. And Nolan Smith is a little bit bigger than Adam Anderson, so he's probably going to be that closer to the line of scrimmage, have a heavier presence in the run game than Anderson. Not that both of them won't have a heavy presence in the run game, but man, like when you look at all of these strengths in the front 7, which one of these? I know it's like asking who your favorite kid is, but like what are you most excited about with this defensive front?
The fact that Jordan Davis came back, that's number 1.
Yeah.
When you got a guy who can just stand there and just take on 2 blocks and free up linebackers, that's exactly what you want from a D line. That's number 1. Number 2,
Devontae Wyatt, not Wynn. Devontae Wyatt. Yeah.
Have you seen Adam Anderson? Holy shnikes. He looks just like Leonard Floyd, who's playing in the NFL right now. He reminds me of Leonard Floyd a lot too. But here's the thing, though. You can take Adam Anderson and put him at star. Yeah, now you have another linebacker on the field that can stop the run. Those are the bubble screens that you and I both love to throw or not taking care of.
Yeah, if I'm seeing him out there, I ain't throwing that. Like, you can't block him on the perimeter.
Exactly. That can run a 4-5. You know what I mean? So
it's God Almighty. What do you do with that?
Yeah, so then you got Nolan on the other side. I mean, you got strength against speed on the. I mean, there's so many weapons, at the disposal of Kirby Smart and Coach Lanning and the whole defensive staff. And now, think about this: you've added Muschamp to the mix now. You've added Kirby, who still has a voice with the defense now. You've added one of the best secondary coaches in the business, one of the best D-line coaches in the business. You have an all-star cast on defense that everybody's loved playing for. These kids are going out and they love playing football. We are letting the Dogs live, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful to watch them against Clemson.
Absolutely, man. And Dan Lanning is a rising star. On a side note, he's not going to be at Georgia much longer. Let's just be honest about that. He's not. He's going to be a head coach somewhere next year. I can guarantee you that if he wants to be. That's
exactly. I didn't realize that he was like our age. He's like, what, 34, 35, something like that?
Yeah, he's younger than me, which is crazy.
Yeah. Alabama's defensive coordinator is like my age. He's like 32, 33.
That's insane. Like, Sean McVay for the Rams was 30 when he accepted the job. He was 5 years younger than me when he accepted the job of head coach for the Rams. I was like, man, you got to be kidding me.
It just pays if you know what you're doing and you can go out there and get the job done. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Absolutely. And he earned it, man. He earned it. So the one I'm most excited about, obviously I'm excited about Jordan Davis. That should go without saying, right? Mm-hmm. I'm excited about Devontae Wyatt. The dude has been an animal in the weight room in the offseason program. Jalen Carter, the dude was an animal in like Oklahoma drills, like every training camp. I'm most excited about Nakobe Dean. I think he's going to have a huge year. Just watching him run around. He was drawing Roquan Smith comparisons as soon as he walked in the door. Thought that was a bit unfair, but he is – because that's pretty lofty. But he's going to have a special year. I think he's going to have a great year. He showed out in the scrimmage. I'm excited about him.
I am too. Like I said, you got to understand. After what COVID did last year, and as I think it was a great season, but most people a disappointing season. As most people would say, you got to understand these kids are out here having fun. They're playing for each other. They're playing for their brother, which is right next to them. And you see that. You see that on offense. You see them making plays. You see that on defense. Look how much fun they're having. They're hyping each other up. They're having a great time. And and that's what it takes to win ball games. You look at all these other programs, even in Alabama, even with Nick Saban hollering and screaming every day, those guys love going to practice every day. Mm-hmm. If you don't love to practice, then you're not going to win a lot of football games. And now I think we finally got to the point to where we love to practice, and now we're going to go out and win football games.
And you know why? Because it's competitive. It's
like compete.
Practices are games for these guys because when twos go against twos, it might be better than your standard ACC game. Like it's insane. Like practice has been so competitive, so fun, so juiced that these guys just love going out there each and every week. And if you don't love to practice, then man, it gets a bit tough. And I'm trying to think of ways to get practice a little bit more competitive and a little bit more physical. Kirby's figured it out, but in my reading. And some of these scrimmage notes, what's scary is that the biggest concern is the secondary. And it's not that concerning because we've got some playmakers there. Yeah, we're a little beat up, but like we've got some playmakers there that can do some things. And Jamil Adai, is it Adai? I don't think I'm ever going to get that right. I'm sorry, Coach, but it's crazy, right? Like that's how scary this defense is because the secondary, who is probably better than half the conference, if I'm being honest, that's I guess you have to pick a concern, right? You have to be concerned about something, right?
You have to pick something to complain about, but at the same time, you understand. You got Keely Ringa, you got Allen Green, you got Speed. Oh my God! You got Jalen so Kimber. Many names back there that can get it done. Yeah. That's the thing. If you just let these guys play,
he's getting in the mix now too.
Exactly. You just let these guys play. Let them play. Of course, they're going to name a time at Alabama that somebody didn't get beat in the secondary. They had a great front seven. Did they always have the best corners? No. But guess what? They let them boys go out there and play. They got national championships. And every year, who are we going to put at corner? Who are we going to get at safety?
They just figured it out. They just figured it out.
Play.
They just figured it out and let them go. Like
it's called recruiting for a reason, guys.
It's called recruiting. And you got to let those guys play. Like, you can't coach scared with those guys. Like, you got to understand, hey, we're going to get beat. We're going to get beat occasionally, but we got to win more battles than we lose, and we'll be okay. Just let those guys learn, man. But talking about a couple newcomers defensively that emerged from this camp, obviously Samel Munden is somebody that's been kind of creeping up the charts. He is going to be the real deal at linebacker. Then, of course, Jamon Dumas-Johnson, kid out of Maryland. He is a thumper. He's going to come down and strike people. Kamari Laster, who I just said, is impressing at cornerback, so he might get some time as well. And then Javon Bullard at safety also. Some of these newcomers, some of these new freshmen are getting a great deal of reps, and they are taking advantage of them. Why? Because they have to, because it's competitive.
Exactly. That's one thing I love about Coach Kirby Smart. I haven't been up to Athens in a while, but the last time I was up there, I got to talk to him. He's all about the result. He's all about results. He's all about guys competing. If you want to play, show me you want to play. You know, I have to keep you off the field either for an academic reason or you're suspended, something like that, not because of the effort and things you do at practice.
Exactly.
That shouldn't be a reason why I keep you off the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what he wants. And I think that's what he's finally getting that every single day. I think these guys are starting to realize we can compete with these people. One thing he said at media day, we can't concern ourselves with what you think, like you fans outside, me, you know, things like that. We can only control what we control, and that's within our locker room. If we're competing every day, then we're going to be great. If we're listening to the outside about how great we are, we're not coming to work, then we're going to get beat. Point blank period.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, man. Exactly what it is. So this is the last scrimmage. We're in game prep mode now. Speaking of game prep, everybody's prepping for what these uniforms are going to look like. You're going to see the red pants that we wore against Arkansas more than likely, and the red jerseys. It's color rush time, Israel. It's bled down into college football now. They're doing the NFL style color rush. Clemson's going to be purpled out, which they do from time to time anyway, so it's not really abnormal for them. I know that you probably have a little Power Ranger uniform PTSD when you think about this whole color rush thing. But, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I'm kind of intrigued to see what this red on red combination is going to look like, as long as they don't go too funky with it, right?
I think if you just go regular red on red, I think it'll look fine. You know, you see Texas A&M do it. You know, you see a lot of teams. You see Louisville do it a little bit, you know, things like that. So if it's the regular red, our regular red on red, I think we'll be fine. But if, you know, we come out looking like a plum like we did with the Power Ranger uniforms, I think it's not going to look very good.
Yeah.
But, you know, Clemson wears purple on purple all the time.
Yeah, it's nothing for them. Like, it's just a regular uniform combo.
Yeah. Funny stories, when I was being recruited, they would send, you know, they send the postcards and things home. And Clemson would always send a postcard with them wearing purple on purple to my mom all the time. She loved it. She loves the purple on purple.
Was she trying to say, okay, Israel, if it's not Georgia, go to Clemson?
No, if it wasn't Georgia, it was Florida.
Oh man, that's good choice.
Yeah,
good choice. Yeah. You could have been a Gator.
You know, so I come from a family of Gators anyway, so it would have fell right into everybody's hand anyway. So it wouldn't make for good TV now.
No, it wouldn't. You wouldn't be on Brinks TV with me, right? So the world is looking out for you. Right? That's what I'm going to tell myself. So I could have went to Florida State. Obviously not as a player. God didn't bless me with the physical attributes to be able to play at the next level. And in 2002, I was not aware of all the opportunities that you have at the Division III and NAIA level. I just was not aware of all of those. I probably, had I had some of those opportunities presented to me, I would have done some thinking about those. But it just wasn't prevalent. At least in my world, it was not prevalent. Like if I was one of these kids today, I would most definitely take some of these offers, but I didn't, and I don't regret it. But I worked inside the office, and that was pretty cool. So, but the red on red, I think it's going to be fun. It's got the fans buzzing. That's why it's on our list. It's got the fans buzzing, and you know how Georgia fans are. They're anything but red on silver britches or white on silver britches. It ain't for them, right? Because they have the Power Rangers PTSD or the black pants, black helmet, Florida disaster, which I call the Grambling uniforms. From 2009, which was a disaster. What did you think of those? You wore those too, didn't you?
I actually like that.
It's a good combo. It's a good look. It just, you get thumped in them. It's not really,
Yeah, not so much. I wonder whatever happened to those.
I don't know, the black pants were awesome. Like, I would love to see a black on black combo.
Yeah, they disappeared.
Yeah.
We never saw them again after that.
Coach Rick probably burned them after that game. Probably buried them or whatever. Like anytime you get a big loss, like they're probably buried with those Power Ranger uniforms that people didn't take home with the leftovers. Like everybody took their own jersey home.
Yeah, but anytime you get one of these games, it's always fun. First game of the season, game day is going to be there. So it's always fun to spice it up a little bit. And what better way to spice it up and get fans buzzing than about uniforms? Everybody complains about a uniform that they don't have to wear.
Right. Exactly. That's
like it's because of the uniforms that they didn't play well. No, it's because of lack of execution, not because of the uniform they were wearing.
Yes. Those are pure facts. So yeah, I'm digging it. So, well, have you? Let's go off topic for a minute while we still can. NFL, have you watched any of the preseason?
I have actually watched yesterday. I watched a little bit of that Jacksonville game yesterday. Lawrence didn't look bad. I saw that Etienne hurt his foot. Hopefully, it says he's out. He may be out for the season, but hopefully he's not. I tell you what, him and Gardner Minshew are in a battle now. Gardner Minshew didn't look bad the other night.
He's a special dude.
We got Cam Newton as well. I guess he's in COVID protocol now or something like that.
Yeah, he went away from the facility and took a test, and now he's in COVID protocol.
Yeah, so you never know how that's going to go. But I'm not really an NFL guy, but I like the preseason because you get to see everybody else. My Cowboys are hopefully we can figure it out.
Do you have HBO? Are you watching them on Hard Knocks?
No, I can't. Every time a team's on Hard Knocks, something bad happens.
Yeah. You can tell that team on Hard Knocks. You can tell Mike McCarthy is just – he's not really the head coach. I think Jerry Jones is really the head coach right now.
And that's what I hate about the NFL. At least in college football, we know who the head coach is.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to Alabama, you know that Nick Saban is the one in charge. You go to Georgia, you go to Clemson, Dabo and Kirby are in charge. You even go to Florida, and Dan Mullen's in charge. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You go to the NFL, Atlanta, we all know Arthur Blank's in charge.
Mm-hmm.
You go to New England, Crafton's in charge.
Belichick runs that franchise pretty much.
But Kraft's like right behind him.
It's a weird dynamic. Every once in a while, they step on each other's toes, and they still haven't figured out how to draft wide receivers. I don't understand that, but
it's one of those things where Jerry, you're the owner. Go be the owner. You're not the coach.
Yeah, he probably pissed away 4 Super Bowls because him and Jimmy couldn't get along.
Right, Jimmy's the best thing to come through there.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's a few franchises I appreciate that let their coaches actually be the head coach, and that's the Seahawks. Like, you hear nothing about their owner. The Rams, the 49ers. Well, maybe the 49ers. You think so? Like him and John Lynch?
Him and Lynch are good.
Yeah, they do it. Sean Payton down in New Orleans, even though I can't stand the Saints, but they let him run. They let him run things.
Kansas City,
which they'd be stupid if they didn't.
Bucks,
I think the Bucks.
Bruce Arians now.
Mm-hmm. I think Mike Vrabel here in Tennessee. I think they let him run the show. If the Browns don't let Kevin Stefanski run the show, they're stupid.
Yes.
The Vikings, unfortunately, with Mike Zimmer, I love him to death, but he just doesn't inspire me as a head coach. Green Bay, we don't know who. Aaron Rodgers apparently runs that team.
I think they got some stuff to work out up there.
You think? But yeah, no, I've watched some of these preseason games, very sparingly, and keeping up with. I'm in a dynasty league, so obviously I'm keeping up with my rookies and people I just drafted. Like Davis Mills could be QB1 down in Houston. I hope so because I drafted him in the 4th round. We do a rookie draft, so like when you get in the 4th round, you're drafting people like me. who just barely made a team, and you end up dropping those guys. But Micah Parsons has been outstanding for the Cowboys. Speaking of Cowboys, and I'm really excited about CeeDee Lamb. I have him on my team. That dude is special. Yeah,
he's a good player now. He's a really good player. It's really going to help if we can stop some people.
He's got Dexter Lawrence has got to be that guy.
Yeah,
or DeMarcus Lawrence, right?
It's going to be fun to see. Be fun to see. Yeah, going to be fun to see.
I'm a Falcons fan, so
football's back, baby. That's all I'm worried about.
That's all that you're worried about. So let's make a few picks because we got some week 0 games, and since there's only a small handful, we can pick them all, right? All right. So let's start with this barn burner: Southern Utah and San Jose State. That game is kicking off. That's actually a 9 p.m. game. Or a 10 p.m. game for you. So that's a West Coast special. I'm excited. San Jose was a bowl team last year.
Yep, I'm going San Jose State.
Yeah, there you go. New Mexico State and UTEP, 8:30 from Aggieland in Las Cruces.
I think I'm gonna take the Utes on that one.
The Miners, the UTEP Miners. They have a really cool logo. I like their logo.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Miners.
They've done some improving slowly but steadily under Dana Dimmel. Here's an interesting matchup: Hawaii at UCLA. UCLA is a team I did the Pac-12 preview with on the Illegal Motion college football podcast, and UCLA is a team that I'm high on because they've got a lot of experience coming back, including their starting 5 up front. They are, I think they're going to win the Pac-12 South. I don't think they're going to win the Pac-12 because Oregon is outstanding, but they're going to win the South Division for sure.
I think Chip Kelly finally got what he wants now. I think he's finally, getting guys that he wants in. So I think UCLA is definitely a team to look out for. I don't know what Hawaii has coming back, but I think with UCLA being who they are now, who Chip Kelly has established that team as, I think UCLA is going to win that one by a landslide.
Yeah, I don't think it matters what Hawaii has because UCLA is going to be really, really good. Another game that really doesn't matter, UConn. Do they still have a program? I'm not sure. Obviously they do because they're on the schedule, but they travel to Fresno State. That game's just going to be exciting because, well, if you just got to love – you got to love football. It's also an 11 a.m. kick on the West Coast in Fresno. So, yeah.
I'm taking Fresno on that one simply because it's a little bit early for our guys coming from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Hell of a trip, man. You travel across the country and you kick off at 11 a.m. That's talk about.
Hey, you got to be ready to play anytime.
And they're bad. So, but the game of the week obviously is Nebraska and Illinois. The storylines at Nebraska. I would hate to be Scott Frost right now. He's probably polishing his resume so that maybe he can take over at UConn next year. But Illinois, I really like what Illinois has, what they're bringing to the table right now, because Brett Bielema he is, as far as Big Ten coaching, he can get it done. He knows how to, he was a fish out of water in the SEC, let's be honest. He went into a program that was already struggling a little bit, and he just couldn't seem to find his footing in the SEC because the SEC is a completely different animal. But now he's back to an Illinois program that he's going to help resurrect. he's got some guys on the staff. He's going to update his scheme, things like that. I'm hearing some positive things out of Illinois, not so positive things out of Nebraska. Illinois is hosting in Champaign. That is a 12 p.m. kick Central Time, 1 p.m. game for you. That's a Fox national game. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see it. And Big Ten football's back, man. So,
oh yeah,
I like the Illini.
I can't wait to watch it. I like the Illini in this one too. It didn't work out for Lovie Smith, but you can't say the man couldn't recruit. I think he got some great guys in.
Yeah.
I think, with everything going on with COVID and all that kind of stuff, you never know what might happen behind closed doors, but I think he had the program moving in the right direction since, let's see, the Rose Bowl. Illinois played in what, 2001, something like that.
Seven.
Was 7?
It was 7. They got shellacked by USC.
Yeah, but then just think about how good they were. They were a really good team then.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Lovie kind of got them on the right track. Bleav comes in now. I don't think you're gonna get that ground and pound like you had in Wisconsin. But I think you change some things up. Throw the pill around a little bit. I think that'll be pretty good. But Nebraska, just stay out of trouble, man. Just stay out of trouble.
It's gonna be a rough season for the Huskers.
And just understand, you got to keep eyes on everybody within your program, whether you know what's going on or you don't. Don't pay people. Make sure you follow all the rules. And
if you follow protocols, you're fine.
Just be smart. You're making millions of dollars to win football games. You don't have to teach a class like we do. You don't have to really babysit. We coach football. Just do that.
Yeah, and you got to recruit every once in a while. So, we are going to wrap there. I'm excited that football is back. We are the Bleav in Georgia Dawgs podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network. That's where you can hear us. You can see us and hear us on Brinks TV right here on our YouTube channel. We will be linked to the Bleav YouTube channel as well. Next week, stay tuned because we will be talking some Clemson preview. We'll be getting ready. We'll be getting geared up for that big game. We'll be making some SEC picks. And again, we'll come at you on a Tuesday because I have a game Thursday next week. You have a game Thursday this week. We'll come at you at our new temporary time, and then we'll be back to our regular schedule after that for a little while until October. I think I have another sometime in the middle of October, another Thursday game. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited that football's finally here. As you see below, subscribe, comment, pass it along, man, because without you guys, there is nothing. So find us, hit us up, right? Hit us up right through there. See where my pen's pointing? There's a little scroll. It's scrolling across, right? Follow the show on all social media at Bleav in Dawgs. Yeah, there you go. See, I can narrate that for you.
Are you the one that does the voice for us?
I am not, but I can imitate it somewhat.
That is pretty dang good right there, brother.
I've got it nailed. No, that's Carter. That's Carter, the Bleav audio engineer. So he's the one that kind of helped me get this show kicked off and getting my audio mixed and stuff like that. So he is even more of an audio guru than I am, believe it or not. So, but find us on YouTube. Visit Bet Online. Go make some bets. Go win some money. Then spend it on us, right? So the timer has yelled at me and now has shut the door and left the building. So we're going to do the same. We are the Bleav in Georgia Dawgs podcast on the Bleav Podcast Networks and Brinks TV. We thank you for watching. We hope you subscribe and comment and follow us along for this journey we call football season. We are presented by Bet Online. That's all we got today. We'll see you back here next week as we preview the Clemson Tigers. We make our picks and we get underway in the season. For Israel Troop, I'm Corey Burton. So long. See you later. And obviously, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
This is the Bleav in Georgia Dawgs podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network.